Hello, and welcome once again to Baking with Marjorie. Marjorie, that's me, like margarine, but with an E. Firstly, to this week's letters. Sean from Portsmouth writes thusly: Dear Marjorie, like margarine, but with an E. I've just finished my degree. Oh, shite, Sean. Is this going to be a poem? This is a cookery show. Anyway. And want to know how to make the perfect scone. Well, Sean, firstly, you lob a dollop of flour through a sieve and then cram a wonk in and squish it with your fingers, just like crabs do to monkeys on those animal shows with David Attenborough. Then a touch of vanilla essence to keep away the vampires. I think you put some milk in. I'm pretty sure you do. Then roll out the splotch until it looks like a cartoon Labrador that's been squashed by a lorry. Cut into little circles and smash into an oven for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, open the oven, and there you have it. Dark Souls!
With that delightful opening, you are listening to Twin Humanities, the Polygon Dark Souls podcast, with myself, Paddy, known as Paddy Stardust on the forum. Marjorie, what's your name?
Neil Diamond.
Does it ever stop?
Sweet Paddy Stardust. No, no, no. Hello again. Hello.
Oh, God. His name's CJ. Oh, dear. Dear. This is not a good start. There's no...
I think about you every night. And I know it's late, but I couldn't wait. There was quite a gap in that song when he said it. It was like He's Out of My Life by Michael Jackson, where towards the end he kind of goes on a caravan in holiday for 2 weeks and then comes back. He goes like, she's out of my...
Oh, like what happens in Rock Band when you have a song that has an extended solo and you kind of forget. And then the singing comes back in and you're not ready and you have to run back to the microphone.
Life.
Or you've got a beer and you have to kind of spit it out and more than a feeling, like that. You've got to just jump in with it. I do that all the time.
Play Satan's games.
You don't play you don't play Rock Band?
I do not.
Ah, for shame. It's great. I sing by preference. It's awesome.
I have other games. Like Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, yes. Let's get back to the crux of the matter. Yes, this is the Dark Souls podcast, Twin Humanities. This is what? Season 2, episode 4?
Something like that.
And as of some point earlier today being Monday when we record said podcast, we are now on iTunes.
We are on iTunes, Newcastle's finest website.
Hey, Rabbi Gum.
Now, that's a Yorkshire accent.
I don't know accents.
Okay. That's
yeah, it's not very... it's been a while.
I tried to start the show off well, but you derailed it to such a degree that no rail companies exist. All the trains are dead.
I'm sorry, I've derailed by getting my northern accents wrong. You all sound the same up there, you northern monkeys. It's all the same.
Cheeky Portsmouth Cockney.
So thank you very much to Mr. Sean McElroy, Polygon Community Manager Sean McElroy, getting our podcast up.
Thanks for writing into Marjorie as well.
And for writing into Marjorie, yes. Thank you for your continued support and influence, because frankly I forgot.
And to Jay from Kane and Rinse.
Yes, for giving us the impetus. Well, I say giving us, for giving him the impetus to get this thing on iTunes. So
yeah, and Jay's now playing Dark Souls and loving it as well, which is really cool.
Just beat the Hellshite Dragon, didn't he?
Makes me right happy, like.
Read good. Spread the love. Spread it like a thick jam.
Spread it like Kalumeet's eye when I've stabbed it. Because we met the greatest dragon. The dragon that doesn't have a series of moves. The dragon that looks to fuck you up at every move.
He doesn't have... He's the best poker player I've ever seen. There are no tells.
Hey, I'm doing this move. No, I'm not. It's this one. Hey, look, I'm jumping back. Fire.
Oh, I see standing behind me. Eat my tail.
He's awesome. I love Kalumeet to pieces.
It was a happy Kalumeeting. And yes, so from last time we just pimped Manus. We pimped him right good and proper from outside of the boss room, which is a little bit cheap, but frankly, it's a win. I'll take it. It's a win.
Yeah.
You know, the game hates you. It does so you have to hate it back.
Yeah,
You know.
but that's clearly there.
Oh yeah, that's for a reason. Like they wouldn't put him there if you like. It's for the adventurous player. It felt a little bit cheap in the hours following doing it, but frankly, I'm over it. I beat him. I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah,
If he's going to have a giant arm and shoot out Humanities at my face, I should get a chance to have a few cheap shots at him as well.
But I always think within game design, I don't think that's a sloppy piece of game design because Manus, the Manus battle in of itself, it could have just cut to that anyway. It could have cut away from it because you've got a cut scene before it happens.
Yeah, I mean, he is there in the pit. I mean, bosses don't usually spawn in until, like, other games. The boss doesn't spawn in until you enter the boss room. He's not there. You can look around, there's nothing there. He'll kind of appear, whereas he was just sitting around. And if you didn't look for him, you wouldn't see him. And even then, it was...
If we hadn't seen that message that was on the floor...
Yeah, never would...
just piled in.
Yeah, and especially with the way that you have to shoot your arrows without even without even using the manual aim. You've got to kind of just sort of free aim it from the top, which is a buggering nightmare, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's not an easy shot. But anyway, we pimped Manus, and then before we bro-opped again, I had a couple of goes at Kalumeet myself.
Okay.
I thought, go on then, big lad, let's have a look. Let's have a little gander, because the missus's mother stopped round, and I kind of showed her him kind of buzzing past, and when she left, I thought, yeah, go on then, I'm gonna have a go. So I trottled on down the ladder, the big ladder of fail, and I had a look round, and he wasn't there. I thought, okay, now I know you can't beat him yet, because I don't think I'd done the thing yet. Okay, so I thought, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to see him, because I know I can't beat him yet, because I think you've told me that I can't beat him yet, which is fine. So I went in, I thought, right, I've gone in a bit of a way. It's not spawned in yet. There's 3 items on the floor over there. Going a bit further. It's nothing. Going a bit further. Nothing. I'm going to get these items. So I was able to run in, grab all 3 items that are in the middle of his area, like a shiny treat, like a baited hook. Grabbed them, heard the kind of roar from the end of the cavern. Didn't even look. Ran. Just spun the camera around and bunted it onto the ladder. I didn't even see him.
Mind you, that entrance that he gave sort of earlier on in the level where he did the same sort of thing as the Hellkite Dragon and the dragon from Demon Souls was fantastic because he didn't just land on the ledge and jump off. He stared you down.
Yep. He looks at you and goes,
with his one eye like some crazy winged penis.
"You'll keep."
Yeah, it was pretty much like lols.
So basically, I realised that I couldn't. Obviously, you can't beat him at that point because he's still flying around. You can't beat a flying dragon with a stick. It doesn't work. So I had to open up the way up to Hawkeye Goth. Now I did have to look up and find out where this key was. I think you told me, didn't you? We went and you found it when we were chatting the other time. In a kind of secret bit in the big warehouse where all the bloatheads are in Ulasil Township, where there's like 12 of them. And with a bit of a daring run, I got in and I got out without any real incident, which I was just very surprised at. Since I didn't really kill any of the bloatheads, I just ran past them.
But it has to be said, though, I mean, Kalumeet makes quite the entrance when he lands on that bridge. And then when you go down to that bit, he makes a secondary entrance, which is still pretty fucking great.
I don't know, I didn't see it. I ran away.
But, you hear the music, and if you do hang around...
He sort of buzzes past, doesn't he?
I think you get burned sort of quite heavily. But after that, when you go and meet Goth...
Big old Goth.
That moment is just stunning.
Where,
obviously, if you've not done this bit, don't keep on listening. Cover up your ears, shove some tomatoes or some oranges in there. Whatever fits, basically.
Some margarine.
Yeah, some margarine, like Marjorie, with a line.
Spread the jam of secrets in your ear canals.
Jamus, that's a lovely name for a boy. He's going to grow up big and strong, that one.
Jamison margarine. We're getting off topic. Dragons.
But when you go to see Hawkeye Goff, and there's that, Goff's there, and he's been blinded by Manus. He's been put up in a high tower that he can't get down from, and he's making those chimes so that whichever land someone has come from, that they can communicate with one another, or if something happens that they can speak. And that moment where there's the watch Hawkeye Goff hunt dragons, it's just storming, absolutely storming. And you see sort of Goff basically shoot Kalumeet down from the sky
without
looking. Yes,
without even looking, because he's blind.
It's just it's the instincts of one of the great archers that who was, I think him and Faris were the best of the two of the archers in the kingdom. So yeah, it makes you wonder sort of how good Faris was. I think Faris is a lady actually, but how good she was in her prime.
Before we stole her hat.
Yeah, before you
and bow.
Danced.
And made a funny dance while holding said items. I don't feel bad about it. I got a cool hat. In the grand scale of things, there's feeling bad and there's getting a cool hat. So I mean, what are you gonna do? But yeah, the whole moment of meeting Goff, and then asking him to, help with Kalumeet, it's just a mighty shot, because again, it's like in that same vein as the dragon great bow, I think it's called, the big one that the bastards in Anor Londo have. In that way that they basically fire javelins. This pretty much fires a tree branch at him. Like, he takes a nearby sapling, strips it of the leaves, and then fires it at a dragon. That is metal.
Yes, it is. Yes,
that is so very metal. And it's cut perfectly, it's shot beautifully. You properly go, whoa, because it's a hard hit as well. And you just kind of see him, Kalumeet, just kind of vanish over a kind of a hill. And you don't sort of hear him land, you just sort of see him vanish, and you're like, he's wounded. I might be able to do something here. And then I went and had a go at him on my own, by catapulting down the ladder and going for a pop. And I shouldn't have done that by myself, because I was not ready. I was not ready at all. I maybe got, I don't know, I think I did okay for a solo man. I got him down to about I got a quarter of his health. I took off a quarter of his health. So we had 3/4 remaining. So I didn't make a massive dent at him, but it was enough to feel like I'd, achieved something. Because I've met him once or twice before when I was hovering around outside the Artorias door, because the place outside there seems to be a great summoning spot for people going to challenge Kalumeet, because it becomes open for summoning again. So you can summon that and everyone just goes straight for Kalumeet. So I've met him once before, and I'd never lasted more than about 30 seconds. Like, I didn't know what to expect. And now I'm a bit tougher, a bit stronger, I've got better armour on, that sort of thing. Still getting a bit battered. But, it's a very unpredictable fight. And I think it only really started to click when we both went down together and had a go. When we met back up outside of that area where you fight Artorias, meeting back outside there. And then when the two of us had a go, it clicked. All of a sudden the fight made sense.
But I think that often when you get tough battles, it's about the chemistry of the players that are there. Even when you're going back to one of the early battles in Dark Souls, and you're taking on Havel. If you've got someone that's either chucking in magic or miracles from distance, someone's distracting him or sort of attacking in a more physical way, that makes the difference in those battles. And it was probably the most successful battle I've had against Kalumeet, just simply because I think we nailed the chemistry really well, because you were you were getting him really close and attacking him and trying to distract him as much as possible.
I was stabbing him in his tender underbelly.
Yes, and cobbing in a bit of pyromancy.
Oh, he took all my fire. Every last match I had, I lit on his face.
and I was standing outside, and the character that I was using, I had Great Lightning Spear and Lightning Spear in my left hand, and in my right hand I had magic. It was kind of a character that was balanced between magic and miracles, and it meant that I could chuck out the lightning sort of fairly nicely, but at the point where that ran out, that was when I was lowering my shield to use magic, so it became more dangerous as the fight went on. But I think we nailed what we were doing.
It was we had a strategy. We had a game. It didn't work the first time. Like we had one or two attempts that kind of met with early failure, didn't we? I think we got invaded at one point, didn't we? We just kind of hung around and the guy vanished.
Yeah, I think we.
That might have been when we did it on your. I can't remember. But yeah, we definitely got invaded. And the guy, we never saw the guy. They just vanished. But yeah,
I think
we
he
had
might have fallen off something, to be honest.
Oh, I hope so. Having being able to work together, and we didn't even really play Kalumeet tennis like you can do with Artorias or some of the sort of single guys. You can't really play tennis with him because he's so big and he's quick and he's unpredictable, and he's got about 15 different attacks, and he can let off any one of those at any choice. You know, from close range, long range, mid range, blast attack that covers a big area, spin round and blast a big load of fire behind where he was stood, which invariably is where you are stood.
Yeah.
And it's that unpredictability that does make it just a really tough fight, because, like we say, there's no tells, he doesn't really telegraph, he can very easily go from one punishing move straight into another one without sort of time to really recover from. And having two of us there, I think it was still a really hard fight with the two of us, because he could have get both of us.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and you were miles away. Yeah, you were like a good kind of 20 yards away, chucking spears at him, and I was sort of stabbing him in the arse. But he was still going for you every now and again.
Yeah, I think because I was doing. I mean, you can't do a tremendous amount of damage to him, because I think that he takes the blows incredibly well. But the stuff that I was chucking at him was of a probably the highest caliber that you could nobble him with. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a successful battle, but it was by no means easy, was it?
No, not at all. It was hard fought, and there was a lot of strategic Estus happening.
Yeah, very
lots of, especially where I was kind of playing the upfront man with my late rolling character.
I think the best aspect of it was, though, that he's a tough boss and he is desperately unpredictable. But we were reveling in every single move that he managed to pull on us. We were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're going to do that!" And he didn't. He never seems like he's going to do the move that you think he's going to. You can try and telegraph it, but.
The best one for that got me and made you laugh every single time he did it was the one where he kind of jumps backwards, spins around, and then just burns everything behind him. Because
there's no connection between sort of one move and another. There's no sort of big animation before he launches into a move. He can jump out of the way and then launch into that fire attack. Or the one that made you giggle was the one where it's like, "I'm going to tread on you with my front paws. I'm going to tread on you with my back paws.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with my tail, spin around and then burn you."
His opposite stomp, because it's the opposite leg that he does it with. So he'll do his front left and his back right. And there's me stood behind him at the back of his right going, "Idiot, I'm not there. Oh, I am there." oh, and then rolling away like an idiot. But yeah, I mean, in general, that whole fight, it's a very tough fight. I think it's probably designed to not be a single player fight. I think you could probably do it on your own, but you'd need to
Take a
be
while.
a lot. You need to be it'll take a while, and I think you need to be a lot tougher than we are.
I've taken him on sort of in single player, and it's very difficult because he's on to every move that you make.
Yeah, and
Every
it's a different kind of fight to like the difficulties I had with the Artorias fight, where it was a one-on-one fight, and he creamed me. What I think the count was 36 times in the end in a row, but it always felt like a fair mano y mano kind of fight. Like we were two guys slugging it out, and when I was losing, it was because I cocked up. Like with Kalumeet on your own, it's like it's so unpredictable, and he's got so many moves he can just bust out at you. There's no real sort of safe zone when you're on your own. I don't think there's no safe strategy to play. Like you can't get behind him and go lol and stab him up the arse because he'll just stamp you with his tail. There's no real safe strategy from what I can tell, short of bringing a friend and trying to distract him, and then even like trying to work out some of the dead zones, like the one where he stands on his back legs and kind of burns the area in front of him. But if you're stood right in front of him, it doesn't touch you, so you can just sit there and just kind of keep burning combustion right into his groinal area, and it feels good.
There's that attack that he does as well, where he goes up into the air and then just burns an upturned mushroom on the floor.
Yes.
It's not just as if it's the left and the right,
and if you're not sure where you are at that point, you can walk into a wall and get hit with that very, very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know where, because again, it's positioning, it's knowing where he is, knowing where we are. I mean, like when we first started, like one of the first things you said, we'll try to split up. You go one way, I'll go the other.
Yeah.
Kind of try and distract him, and at least, if not, play tennis with him, at the very least try and distract one person, take a few hits, so the other one can get their slaps in, and take turns being the dummy essentially, as it were.
It was a really magnificent fight.
Cracking fight.
Just a joy. I mean, I've said before that the DLC is essential. It's absolutely essential. Just because it's fine-tuned Dark Souls. It's the thing that the team did after Dark Souls. They worked on the levels that they got, which weren't working as well as they wanted them to, and they ended up doing something so brilliant within the lore. And the amount that you get for the DLC price, I think, is pretty stonking.
It's pretty cracking, and it's been on sale once or twice at least. It's always on sale on Steam. It's always like a tenner on Steam, which is, quite frankly, phenomenal value for the whole game.
Yeah.
And I'd advise anyone listening. I mean, if you're listening and you don't have it, if you are that person, good on you. But I imagine most people listening are Dark Souls players or fans. But yeah, if you're not, like, 10 quid, get it, get yourself a controller, plug it in your PC and have a go.
And although it is sort of cheap enough on consoles now as well. So.
Yeah, even so, yeah. I picked it up for what? I think it was, £15? £15-14 off Granger, which was reasonably priced. I'll take that, and that's pretty much what I paid for Dragon's Dogma the other week as well, which is, again...
you can get it. I think you can get it new, that price as well now. So.
Absolutely, yeah. The copy I got was new. I was very happy with it. And yeah, one more thing. When you beat Kalumeet, in the back of his area is that most rare of all Dark Souls things, a Titanite slab.
And I didn't even see that.
It's only in the back. It's only there if you go and look and sort of... I didn't even see it was a chest first. It just looked like a kind of a little white hump. I thought, what's that little white hump over there? It looks like a mushroom.
Do you know what a gaming fail that is for me? Because what is one of the utmost, how can I put this? One of the biggest gaming tropes is the fact, see a waterfall, there's probably something behind it.
I am yet to meet the waterfall that has no secret.
Yeah.
And it's right there. It's just sat. It's not even in the waterfall. It's like basically in front of it as well.
Absolute bast.
So yeah, a second Titanite slab, which means I've now got a plus 15 black bow of Faris. Mm-hmm. That bow is getting lucky. I tell you, because I've been...
Like the legend of the archer.
I don't know enough of the words. As it shoots
within the forest.
I don't know enough of the words to make light of it yet. I need more to do satire.
I'm going to work on that one.
Work on that one. And I've been back a couple of times since. I've just hovered around outside and dropped my sign down and helped a few people out with Kalumeet. And I've maybe done that fight another 5 times since now.
Have you gotten bored of it yet, Paddy?
No. Well, because 3 of those times, the summoner died within about 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy that summoned me, he was rocking a similar sort of gear to what I was. He definitely had the dingy robe on, but it was like different trousers, different hat, that sort of thing. But he looked like geared more lighter. And the second guy he summoned was basically, it was Havel.
Oh,
It
fair
was
play.
full Havels and the Dragon's Tooth thing.
I don't think really that's a huge amount of good for Kalumeet,
No,
because
but that guy took on a lot of punishment and it barely moved his health bar. I was enjoying watching him.
Because I tried a few different outfits on, because when I was first fighting Artorias, I think I was using the stone main body and then the sorcerer boots, so it was quite, I could take a hit from him.
Yeah.
And with Kalumeet, I found that I needed a little bit, something a little bit lighter, just simply because of needing to roll out of the way of the fire.
Be able to react and to move.
Yeah,
it's got quick attacks that you need to be able to react to faster than a slow roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's as soon as that was cracking off, I was like, roll, 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 roll. I mean, you saw I was Uncle Roll.
Roland Rat.
We went to Australia and built a sausage farm. And so yeah, that's your best bet. I was using the gold hemmed top. I think it's still the sorcerer boots because they're really light. I wasn't using. I used the wolf ring at first, but I really got no reason to fear being staggered because I was keeping away from him. So eventually I used, I think it was the lingering dragon crest ring, because it made my attacks more powerful. I might have used Dusk's helm as well at that point.
I think you did. I remember seeing you wearing those kind of Mickey Mouse pointy ears.
Yeah, because you were mocking my Dealy Boppers, you dirty
It was
bitch.
Dealy Boppers, that's the one, I remember now, yeah. But yeah, I've done the kite a few more times. Again, 3 out of 5 of those times, the summoner has died within 30 seconds. And you can kind of see them kind of running around going, oh my god, I don't know what to do. But the fights that we won, again, it was, a well-oiled team almost. It was always with 3 people. And it was always, again, every person was doing a different thing that was all working together. There was always someone hucking, like, soul spears or lightning spears from a distance. There was always at least one of us up there in front of him, having at him close range, claw to sword, as it were.
I remember when we did the Manus battle, we were all like, fuck! Oh, fuck! Oh! And yet, when we were fighting Kalumeet, it was like, oh! Come on, did you see what he did then? Oh, come on, we're wearing him down. And then he did like, oh, God, he got me in. But we were having such a laugh.
It was a great,
Kalumeet.
fun fight. Manus's fight was kind of scary in that kind of, oh, geez kind of way. Kalumeet was a barrel of fun.
But it wasn't in a way that would disrespect the Great Dragon.
No, not at all. It was fun because it was a good, decent. I don't want to say fair challenge because it's probably one of the most unfair bosses in the game.
Whoa!
I don't know. I think he can pop any move out any time. It does leave you open sometimes to a couple of very bad combinations.
Why does that make it unfair? Just because the dragon isn't telegraphing any move before he does it, that just makes him cool, and that makes him disco, and it makes him he busts those moves at any point. Disco Kalumeet with his one eye and his groovy moves, but that doesn't make him cheap. That doesn't make him unfair. It means you have to be on your game to beat him.
True.
You take that back.
I'll take that back then. I'll take that back very well. And moving actually nicely on from that link, moving on from unfairness. I did something this week because I thought we've just beaten Kalumeet this week. We've not really got enough for a decent sized podcast this week. So I did something for the first time that I've not done before.
Is this your specialist website, Naked Men and Turnips?
Close.
Is that not live yet?
You're so close. I experimented with Invasion.
Oh, cool.
I went on the invade, and at this point, I should now mention that the friend I made, the very first person I invaded, I sent him a little message and said, "Oh, well done." A chap called Laughmaker Zebra, who's from Japan.
All right, cool.
Lovely chap. Had a few messages over PSN, and if you're listening, thank you. You were a good fight. Yeah, he was the first person I invaded. It was near the Ulasil Township bonfire. I had to kind of throw me cracked oil, because I had about 10 of these cracked red eye orb things. I was like, I'll just spend a few, why not? I'll go have a see what's... I didn't really have any loose humanity or soul, so I didn't really have much to lose. I thought, screw it, I'm going to have fun. Yeah, have some fun. And I popped down to this guy's world, and he was just stood by his bonfire. I'm like, okay, see where this goes. So I did my bow. He did his bow. And Mortal Kombat began. And he chucked out those... It's like a homing thing.
Oh, yeah, the homing soul mass.
Yeah, homing thing, which I actually dodged. Cool. Came right up to me, and I managed to roll around it, and it kind of did a little loop and didn't know what to do and vanished. And it was a very, very fun little... It was quite a short fight. It's not like some fights I've had where you're running back and forwards for 20 minutes trying to get a backstab on. It was a short fight. It was only about a minute long, but it was a very, very well fought fight, I think, from both of our sides. I managed to peg him with one of my fireballs. He managed to peg me with his, I think it was Crystal Soul Spears.
Okay.
Is what they looked like from the painful end. I did ask him after, what was that you were using? He's like, oh, Crystal Soul Spears. Oh, I see. Oh, great. But yeah.
Were they English or American from Japan, or was it, were they just really good at English?
I think, yeah, because he did express I'm from Japan. Does that matter? It's like, if you can understand English, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah. He was a superb fight and had a lovely little chat with him afterwards. He's one of my PSN friends now.
Cool.
And
Laughing Zebra, did you say?
Laughmaker Zebra.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it's great. I thought, it's good. And he does make me laugh.
Laughmaker Zebra, we salute you. Spread our podcast across Japan, please. Yeah. Thank you.
It is on iTunes now, don't you know?
Konnichiwa.
We're plugging the show within the show. Is that right?
Absolutely.
It's like plug
big time now. Come like the apple you have gathered for the feast. My bread is your butter. My wine is blood, child.
Yeah, he was a great fight. Had a lovely little time. I did offer to help him in the township afterwards. Do you want a hand? You know, but man, he says, nope, I like to fight here. I like to PvP. Uh-huh. And it made me realise, I did a few more, I went off to Anor Londo because I heard you say that was prime invasion spot, because people are always going through them.
Want to ruin people's lives as they try and get through
to they ruin mine.
Pikachu and Snorlax.
Yeah, they ruin mine, I'm going to ruin theirs. Went to Anor Londo, and this is where I learned something about invasions. And what I now know about invasions that I didn't know before, the build that I've got at the moment, it's a good build for rolling, it's a good build for stabbing, it's a good build for chucking fireballs. It's very good for dealing with the enemies. It's not so great for dealing with people. Because I don't think I won a single invasion. And I'm okay with that. Because I was going against 3 people. It was always 3-on-1. So I don't feel much shame, to be honest. It's like, fair enough, 3-on-1, I'll take that. I don't mind. 3-on-1 is fair. I don't mind losing to 3-on-1. But the builds people have, I think, that when we've been invaded, they've used, I don't want to call them cheap abilities, but things like the homing soul mass that don't necessarily require skill to hit with it. Like they can fire it, forget about it, and do something else. Whereas
you've got to be able to have the time to even sort of launch that. I mean, obviously with the Great Lightning Spear and stuff that I've got, it really is a great thing to have in your arsenal. But the problem is getting chance to launch it, and I think that's where you can get people with even bigger weapons that come in, and they might take longer to swing that weapon, but they can absolutely wallop you when they do.
If it hits, you're in trouble. Things like the scythes as well, and the whips that people use that seem to get around the shields, which are pretty...
Well, the whip doesn't have an R2 attack as well.
Does it not?
So no, it doesn't. I think it's the only weapon in the game that doesn't.
And see, that's the thing I've learned, that my build I've got, it's good for dealing with people, but like the fireballs, almost every single one that I threw missed. Because people move, and they move differently to an enemy. Like, they will wheel away to the side, and like greased lightning. And it's all about the backstab. Like, PvP it was all about the backstab. And there was a few times when I got almost backstabbed from the front. Because I'm not sure if that's like the servers being a bit slow, or someone being a very, very clever person and just literally snapping it in on the very, very edge of where you're supposed to be able to do it. But a few times, like, I was getting backstabbed thinking, that person was in front of me half a second ago.
Do you realise how cool it's going to be if they do the thing in Dark Souls 2 whereby you can't get backstabbed if you've got... if you're wielding two-handed and you've got your shield on your back.
PvP
that will be so good
because
it's going to be... it's going to be the aspect of, if you're defending your back, you're going to be more vulnerable from the front. So I just think it's if they do that, and I'm sure that was just a wild speculation on my part, that it might be quite cool to do. Or it might, I don't know if Sean actually mentioned that.
I heard people mention it all over the place. I'd love for that, because that would be fantastic. Like, that would... The PvP would then become unpredictable again, which was one of my small worries for Dark Souls 2. Is that if they keep it similar, then things like the PvP and invasions are just going to be the same again. And while they are fun, I'd like to see them mix up a bit. And if they do the thing where you put a shield on your back, that's going to change the game. Like, gone. That's going to be incredible. If one little thing completely changes how everything works, and that's what I like. A little, small, clever, and it makes sense as well. You got a great shield on your back.
Dark Souls changed a lot from Demon Souls.
It did, definitely.
That, because Dark Souls is very, very different to Demon Souls, and people don't really give it enough credit, I don't think, for being as apples and oranges, if you will, as it is within the difference between the two. And I think that Dark Souls 2 is going to be that again. I'm so excited, and it was great to see that banner. I think Namco Bandai are doing.
Yes.
When they say that they're putting a huge amount into the promotion of it, but their promotion's just been faultless thus far.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For those who aren't aware, the banner is outside of E3, and it says Dark Souls 2, March 2014.
God, you realise next week we'll probably have seen more of the game.
You realise let's see, what time? What is it? Where are we on now? Next week? Oh, it is exactly next week, isn't it?
It is. Exactly
oh my life!
I've taken the week off work.
Oh my word! I am not going to be able to sleep that week. And it turns out that the live keynote shows, I got my times slightly wrong. They finish at 4 a.m.
Oh man, I'm
going to have to watch them. I literally won't be able to not watch them in case something cool happens.
My sleep patterns are always kind of go to bed at 10 o'clock and wake up about 4 in the morning.
You're a regular granddad in that respect.
I have a very wonky sleep pattern, and all the males in our family are very much the same. We kind of wake up early and we go to sleep sort of early. But I don't know. I'll have to see how long I can stay up. I mean, I think last year it was a case of staying awake as long as I could, and then I'm sure it was falling asleep to game trailers or something like that when it was on.
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be coffee and tea right next to me all night, because I don't think I'm gonna survive otherwise. I don't do 4 o'clock very often these days. I can't wait. And here's again a reason why I think I'm gonna have to stay up and watch it, because the one that's late is Sony's one.
Yeah,
it's 2 till 4. Can't miss that. For one reason, because it's the Sony one, and that's my team. That's my horse that I back. The second reason that I can't miss that is because the March 2014 date for Dark Souls 2 raises a few questions. Because by then we'll be 4 or 5 months into the next generation by that point.
I think that's the reason that it's been delayed.
Do you think? So do you think the stuff they've shown so far? Okay, they've shown off PS3, Xbox, whatever. They've shown off current gen footage, and then at E3 could turn around and go, actually, you're getting a next gen version as well. Oh yes.
I think that's the reason that it's been delayed. I think that I think that they didn't know when the new consoles were coming initially,
Mhm.
and they couldn't. So well, they actually said from the start that the focus was developing the game on PC, and then it was going to be adapted to 360 and PS3.
I heard that much.
So
Yeah.
if their lead platform is PC architecture, it's not going to really take a great amount to sort of tweak that for PS3 and PS4.
If what we've heard is true. Yeah.
I would imagine that, all bar the shouting, that that the PC, the PS3, and 360 versions are probably not that far off of completion, given like the odd tweak here and there. And I think that I mean, if a game's coming out at Christmas, as we all thought it was going to do,
Uh-huh.
it will probably have to go gold. Getting copies to journalists as well. You're probably looking at least September. You've got to really get everything in gear and
Start
get
printing
close
the
to
damn
that.
thing. Yeah.
I'd imagine that the extra timing gives them the option to just sort of go in all guns blazing. Plus, it means all their marketing is focused.
Yeah.
It means that they're not having a separate marketing campaign for the PS4 and the Xbone.
I mean, that's good to get it all out in one go. I mean, look at the take up numbers on the Wii U versions of things like Mass Effect 3 and Assassin's Creed and Darksiders. They're rubbish because they just can't. I don't think the publishers. I don't think they can afford to market the game twice.
I think
really, not to the level that it is. Like, Assassin's Creed 3's out, and it was like we've already got that. You know, it's to get it all at the same time. Brilliant.
I think, to be fair, the people that are buying the Wii U aren't buying it as a primary console.
No,
either that,
I would agree. Yeah.
Or then, it's been said that why would a PC owner get an Xbox 360 or a PS3? Yeah, there are certain exclusive games, but probably not different enough from a PC for them to do it. But a PC owner might get a Wii U because there'd be the sort of games that they wouldn't normally get, and that's where there's this interesting quandary between third-party titles on Wii U and whether publishers feel that there's enough money in that. I think there's a burgeoning indie scene that's kicking in on the Wii U that's doing very nicely, thank you very much, and is enjoying the fun on the gamepad as well as the telly.
And there's poor bastards like me that have to buy one in the end eventually because of Bayo Bloody Netta.
Well, this is good. This is going to be really interesting because we're talking about third-party titles, but the games that you mentioned have already been out on the other consoles. What happens when a cult favourite? I mean, I don't think Bayonetta did massive amounts of.
It's got a following, so it's got a following for sure, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but it didn't do stupendous amount sales-wise. But what happens when that turns up on the console?
It's going to be. I think that's going to be a big week for Wii U sales. Sorry.
I hope so because
I think it's going to be a great week for it.
It'd be nice on the one hand for Platinum because I think Platinum are fantastic, and I think they're due a really big hit because even stuff that's been well publicised as being awesome hasn't really sold that well for them.
Like Rising is Platinum, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what was the shooter that did before and everybody loved? But let me
put my voice on. Vanquish.
Yes.
Vanquish is superb, and they made Anarchy Reigns as well, which was fun on the bun, but I rented it and I didn't really want to play more. But the short amount that I did play was pretty great. It wasn't for me. Like it was, I could appreciate that it was good while it wasn't really a game that I would play. You know what I mean? When you can see something is good, even though it's not really for you.
Yeah. Not my cup of kippers.
Not my cup of kippers, and it really should have been my cup of kippers. But then again, I didn't get on with Mad World either, so it's kind of Anarchy Reigns essentially is Mad World 1.5. But yeah, it's when something big comes like Bayonetta, because it has got this cult following. The thing is with Bayonetta, like it might not have sold millions, but like if someone played it they like it.
Mhm.
I don't think there's really a large audience of people that played Bayonetta and didn't like it. Like, I can't think of anyone that I can think of that has played it and has expressed a single negative sentiment about it.
Well, let's cast our mind back to last E3
Hmm.
and the announcement of Bayonetta, and you literally weeping through the internet.
I was pretty upset, I'll be
Balance
honest.
in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me.
You betrayed me. I
And
felt
we
spurned.
rely on each other.
I felt spurned. I know it's kind of the publisher's fault, and I know it's kind of that no one would give them money, and Nintendo would anyone that would give them the money to get it done. I still felt like a spurned lover, like a jilted person. And it's like, oh, but I wanted to play that, and I don't want to have to buy another console just to play that.
I remember your tears, sir.
I was grumpy.
I
I'm over it now.
I remember mocking. No, you're not. You
I'm
might
most,
be in denial, but you're not over it.
I'm mostly over it. I'm sure someone that lives nearby will have one that I can go around and sit there for 3 hours and play it, and then I'll be happy. Well, probably more than 3 hours. But I'm mostly over it now. Like it's been a few months now. Acceptance. I've been through the stages of grief. We're at acceptance finally. I'm okay with it appearing on a platform that isn't mine. But let's just rotate this back round again. Back round to Souls. Something that I saw some of the other Polygon moderators, specifically Fox McCloud, speaking about, and I'm not sure if this was fact or if this was just talking because I can't remember because I got excited and didn't really read. Sony still own Demon's Souls, don't they?
Of course they do, yeah.
They own the IP.
They do, and bizarrely enough, Sony own the engine for Dark Souls as well, because
True.
it's the Demon's Souls engine that's been used. So that's why From are creating a brand new engine for Demon's Souls 2, so they don't have to pay Sony any money.
But here's the important thing. Here's the interesting thing. Now, if they were to make a Demon's Souls 2, okay, go with me on this, it couldn't be on a console. And I'll tell you for why it couldn't be on a console. Because From Software, if they've got their Dark Souls 2 out, and then 6 months later, out comes a Demon's Souls 2, me and you would be happy. From Software probably wouldn't be as happy. They go, what are you doing here? Rude.
From
This is
have
our
got
game.
no say in it. From have got no say in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but they've got no say in it. But as a company who owned it, and they want to keep their, I don't want to use the word brand, but you know what I mean. Like their brand, they want to keep their brand. This is what we make. It's brilliant. And then Demon's Souls 2 comes out, and it's like, oh, it's just on a Sony platform, and it's ours as well. And it's like, well, it's not really ours. And you could see them getting a bit, I don't know, again, to use the word jilted a bit upset, which could lead to sort of, relations between Sony and From devolving in that way. Now, to get around that, to get a Demon's Souls 2 without having this kind of brand kind of dissonance going on, stick it on Vita. Give us a portable one.
I've always thought that Demon's Souls on Vita anyway would be a great thing.
They'd have to change it. Don't get me wrong, they'd need to. I think the level-based structure of Demons as opposed to Dark, where it's an open world, the fact you've got this nexus probably plays well to the Vita, because it's going to be the kind of game, you're a portable gamer, you probably won't have time for more than half an hour at a time. If you're playing on the train or on the bus or whatever. So you're not going to want to play more than half an hour. With those games, I think the levels are doable in half an hour. Well, not doable. You can at least have a couple of runs at it. You'll die.
I think they should sort of hang their hat on the fact that if you're playing Demon's Souls and you're on the train, you're not getting off the train. You're on the level. So no, I think you could. I mean, the PSP had that closed state where you could switch it off and then switch it back on again.
Yep.
That'll work. But
that'd be great. Yeah.
As far as relations between Sony and From, it has to be said, if anybody's played the first cheeky card, it was probably From, within the fact of their inverted commas spiritual sequel,
which was basically the same with a bit of difference.
Yeah, I mean they've added enough to call it a sequel, shall we say? Everybody thought it was a sequel, but everybody used the spiritual sequel term. But my first article on the Polygon at the Verge, as it was then, which I ended up putting back onto Polygon, was my E3 wishes for last year, which was Demon's Souls 2 versus Dark Souls 2.
I remember.
And it was about competition and what would happen if Sony decided to do Demon's Souls 2, and who would they give it to? Say if they gave it to Insomniac, what would Insomniac come up with weapons wise, or perhaps if they
a sword that turns people into chickens.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, if they got Joe Madureira to do the character designs for it, because Darksiders 2 does look beautiful.
It does.
But if they were working towards appealing to the same audience, and there was enough to make it a little bit different. I mean, obviously, Sony have got their own in-house teams that they could use as well. It's not limited to a Western thing, but it would be interesting to see what would happen. But the interesting sort of aspect within the competition would be if you've got Dark Souls 2 coming out on Xbox One and PS4, and then you've got Demon's Souls 2 that's coming out on PS4, I can guarantee you over 90% of Souls fans will already be queuing up for a PS4 to play Demon's Souls 2 if it's good enough.
Yep.
So if Sony did things properly, they could sell a hell of a lot of consoles on the back of Demon's Souls 2. The problem with Sony with Demon's Souls, and the problem that's forever there with Sony with Demon's Souls, is they haven't got a fucking clue about what they've got. They didn't, when the game started doing well in Asia, they didn't have a clue. They sold it to Atlas, who did a great job marketing it. Got fantastic word of mouth in America. Loads of people started importing it. Sony still didn't fucking release it in Europe. Namco Bandai ended up releasing it in Europe with a fantastic Black Phantom edition. Did loads of publicity. Sony at no stage realised what they got, and I think that there was a head of gaming at Sony. Sony Japan, he said that he looked at the game before release and he thought it was shit. He said the frame rate was poor, and I think From really pulled it together, like in the final moments, in the pinch, if you will. And he admits now that it's his favourite game, but Sony didn't think it was going to be any good, and didn't think that audience was going to be there. But when it proved that the audience was there and they were ravenous for it, Sony still didn't capitalize on sales or promotion, or at the point where that exploded in America, Sony should have gone, right, this is coming out in Europe in a month. It shouldn't have been 6 months later with Namco Bandai. That should have been somebody at Sony going like, fucking hell, let's put out a red Demon Soul console. Do you know what I mean? Just, you've got this game that's building buzz, because that's one thing that really frustrates me about Sony sometimes. They don't realise what they've got. And I'm hoping that within this new focus on games, that they're going to get back to that amazing marketing of the PS1, and they're going to actually notice what's there. And they've got a gem in Demon's Souls, but in the comments on the forum, on iTunes, on YouTube, who would, if Sony did Demon's Souls 2 and they opened it up and brought in an outside studio, who would you use? Why would you use them?
That's a brilliant question.
And
I'm
also,
having thoughts about that already that I don't want to say.
If you can link my article in the forum post, that'd be cool. I think it's probably locked at this point, but I was pleased with the article.
I'll find it. I can definitely find it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Cool. So I mean, this E3. Oh, it's going to be emotional, isn't it?
I'm really, really excited.
Oh, I can't wait. And we're probably going to have a big explosion afterwards. Now, I think we mentioned this very, very last. Well, just to close up now. Now on the EU PSN PlayStation Plus this month, the month of June, Sony in their instant game collection have put in. Well, they've put in Kingdoms of Amalur, they've put in Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. You know, these are games that are good. These are games that one should not sniff at. But instead I do sniff at them. I sniff. I sniff, sir, because they have given everyone with a PlayStation Plus account in the EU Demon Souls.
And what have I been playing all the way through this podcast?
Demon Souls.
I have. I've been going through Shrine of Storms again and getting absolutely butt whomped.
By the roly shiny skeleton mans. Now, what we're probably going to do next week, because I think we should give Dark Souls a bit of a rest, because, you know, E3 is going to be explosive, and I think we should probably save some material for that. I think we should do, as you suggested, I think we should do a little revisit of Demons next week.
I think we should have an E3 prediction podcast. I think that'd be kind of quite cool to do in itself. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and if any of you are listening, and you have yes, Demons again.
If any of you are listening,
if anybody's listening to this, please send help. If you've listened and you've got Demon Souls, or if you have a PSN Plus, you know, if you've got a PlayStation Plus account and you've not played it, I know a lot of Dark Souls fans might not necessarily have played Demon Souls. A lot of the fans sort of come out of the woodwork when Dark got big. By virtue of it being multi-platform, you might not have even been able to find a copy of Demon Souls, because I certainly had problems finding one for cheap. If you've not played it, play it now. Jump online. We will probably be playing it all week. I'm definitely going to start a new character and crack in.
Already have.
So my friend CJ already has.
I have been playing it throughout this podcast, and let me tell you that I still love this game. I still think it looks beautiful. The sense of design is astonishing. The weight behind the fighting, I think, is a little bit better than Dark Souls. It's got a little bit more heft to it, and if you commit to a move, you've pretty much committed to that move. But it's glorious, and also it's, you know, it's step one. This is where the game came from. So
this is your roots. This is your where it all came from. Yeah, see where you began. The seeds of majesty.
I've just got the Adjudicator shield as well. And I remember we did that video on this level like ages ago where I jumped into your game and we fought the Adjudicator.
Didn't video that, but we did do that.
Oh, didn't we?
We didn't video that. No. I never videoed any of our co-op. The Shrine of Storms I did on my own was the first part.
Oh right, I'm with you.
Up to the Asylum Demon, and then I got scared. Oh, not Asylum. You know what I mean? The one that looks like the Asylum Demon. Yeah. And then I got scared and ran away. But we'll save all that for next week, because that's a whole nother podcast, sir.
It's just a beautiful memory.
It's the beautiful memories of the things that happened.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you have Demon Souls, if you've got PSN Plus, download it right now. I believe it was on the US one a while ago as well. So just download that crap, play it, tell us what you think.
One of the reasons why I've started up with the English one again. I've one of those fools that's got the English and the American ones. And if anybody's interested, the EU, the US, and the Asian ones all have a different set of trophies.
Oh.
They all. I think they're the same trophies, but they're 3 different trophy sets. You know what I mean? There's 3 lots of them.
So you're not a trophy whore, but for this, maybe.
Yeah, I've never completed. Well, 100%ed Dark Souls or Demons, even though I've played them a lot.
To be fair, that's perfectly acceptable, because they're not like the easiest games ever.
I remember somebody saying to me, like, "Oh yeah, Platinum Dark Souls." I was like, "What do you reckon? It's New Game Plus." Didn't play it. Then you didn't Platinum in it.
Then you walk away.
That was Demon Souls.
You just filled out a checklist and you buggered off.
Hey, you twat.
Yeah. Keep going.
But yeah, it's going to be fun to see how many people pick it up, the amount of ghosts that are running around, the amount of invasions that kick in. I just think it's going to go a little bit bonkers, which is awesome.
Excellent. And that will be next time. Next time, Demon Souls and E3 predictions.
Yeah, a return to Demon Souls.
To Demons. And to be fair, we better get those predictions in damn quick, because it starts the day that I usually put this up. So we're gonna have to get those predictions quick.
We'll do we'll do a predictions podcast either
Quick, yeah.
Possibly even we'll do that towards the end of record at the end of this week, and then the Demon's Souls one can be after E3.
Smash in.
Yeah, we'll
smash in. So maybe the week after we'll do Demon's Souls. We'll give you a couple of weeks to play Demon's Souls. There we go. That's fair. You can't ask more than that.
We'll figure it out. If you're subscribing on iTunes as you can now, obviously it'll dollop into your inbox like a beautiful cereal that's squished together in a ball and thrown by your favourite sports star like Granville McGoffrey, who plays for the New England Eyeballs.
My favourite sports star is Steve Wiebe.
My favourite sports star is the golfer cheat man McStick Green.
What, Tiger Woods? Yeah. We'll draw some guys there. If you're listening on the YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, give us a little hello, how are you doing? If your name is Laughmaster Zebra and you're listening, please say hello in whatever place I showed you this. Doesn't matter where, polygon.com forums or whatever, say hello in there. If you've got Twitter, drop us a tweet, tell us what you think about demons. Give us some other answers to the other questions that we answered earlier that I can't remember what they were. But who cares? If you're on iTunes, give us a +1 or a thumbs up or whatever it is that you do on iTunes.
And because he's a good lad, a big supporter of us, and because their website is fantastic. Go and check out Kane and Rinse.
Oh, go on there, lads. Go on.
Because it is phenomenal.
Go check out Kane and Rinse, the harbingers of my broken Vita, because I was listening to one of their podcasts when I broke it.
There we go.
So thanks, guys. This was Twin Humanities Season 2, Episode 4. What's our title, sir?
Cheat Man McStick Green.
Really? I was thinking Kalumeet, the new boss.
That's a bit. One jealous eye.
One jealous eye. That's a lock. Done.
I got there eventually.
Got there eventually. Thank you everyone for listening. And we will see you with E3 predictions. Bye.